Okay, a child's wooden toy is made up of a solid hemisphere symmetrically attached to one face of a solid cube, as shown below. The radius of the circular face of the hemisphere is r centimeters. The diameter of the circular face has the same length as the side of the cube. Okay, so we can put some sort of values in here for our cube, all right? Because we know here that the diameter, okay, is the length of our cube. And remember, it is a cube, so they specifically mentioned a cube. So in other words, the length, width, height are the same. So that means then our length is going to be twice the radius, so it's going to be 2r. But the depth then will also be 2r, and the height will also be 2r. Okay, so in terms of the volume then of my cube, I can literally times the length by width like that, yeah, by height. So I get 2r times 2r times 2r. And if I multiply these, well, 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, and then r times r times r is r cubed, yeah? So that will be the volume of my cube. We don't know what r is, okay, so I'm going to just leave it like that. But for the hemisphere then, well, we know the formula for a hemisphere is half of a sphere. They give us a sphere as 4/3, so a hemisphere is 2/3 pi r cubed. So it's a case then of appreciating that the total volume is this, so we just need to add these two together, yeah? So we know our hemisphere, we know our cube, so we need to add these together, so we can say, look, 2/3 pi r cubed add 8r cubed is equal to the volume there, which is 1261.8. Now on my calculator, I'm going to type in 2/3 times 3.14 for that. Okay, and then whatever that is, I need to add 8 to it. Yeah, so I could actually do that in one go because I want to put these r cubes together. So one way I could do that is when I work that out, I could simply then add 8 to it, and then sort of as if I'm factorizing the r cubed, and do it that way. So there's one way of doing this here, factorizing the r cubed, and then just adding the how many we've got of the r cubed, so whatever that is, add 8 to it. So on my calculator, 2/3 times 3.14, add then 8, so that comes to whatever that is, press the SD, 10.093 recurring r cubed, and that equals to 1261.8. Of course, then to get r cubed, I need to share. Need to share through, need to take that over to get r cubed on its own, so I'm going to be dividing. So my calculator, I can just do 1261.8 divided by ants, and I get that. So if I press SD, I get r cubed to be 125.01, etc. Now of course then, to get r, I need to cube root that answer. So instead of cubing, I do the reverse, I cube root. So shift cube root ants, and I get, yeah, I was expecting that because we know 5 cubed is 125. So literally we can say 5.000, so we can say 5 centimeters there for r, okay? So we've worked out the radius, and they just want us to work out then the height d. And if you just go back to the shape, we just appreciate then that the height d, well, it's made up of the 2r for the cube, and then of course then the radius, well, radius doesn't really have a height, but it's the, sorry, a hemisphere doesn't have a height, but it's literally the radius swept all the way across, isn't it? So it'll be another r, so we've got, that will total there 3r then, yeah? So basically d will be 3r, which is 3 lots of 5, which will be 15 centimeters.